And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with the first breakdown of the week. Again, sorry for missing the contender series earlier this week, but it's on a little bit of a vacation. No one cares about that. I'm here for the Bellator 285 and Cage Warriors. I think it's 243 or something. Breakdown show here. Bellator taking place in Dublin tomorrow, Friday. Got to check out the weigh-ins, face-offs, everything like that. So this is kind of a last-minute primer, but I wanted to get the information out for both that and the Cage Warriors breakdown. But without any further ado, I'm going to jump right into this Bellator breakdown. It's an interesting card. I'll be honest on the fights that I feel comfortable with, as always. Starting with, I think, a very good fight at 170. Closely competitive fight, I should say. Dante Skiro versus Luka Puklit. Coming here at 170, welterweight. Everyone made weight. A couple of people had to strip down. Kelly saying, hey, at least they all made weight. That's a rarity for Bellator. So we'll take what we can get with them. But should be a good one. It's a pretty high quality matchup to start the card here. 9-3 versus 7-1. Luka Puklit out of Moldova, now 33 years old, 5'10", a few inches shorter, significantly shorter, it looked like, than Dante Skiro. Dante Skiro appears to have the reach advantage. I think Luka's the more bulky 170er here, obviously at 5'10". Out of SPG Ireland. Is that a good thing at this point? Beating an 18-28 opponent in 22 seconds. I don't know what that's going to do for you. Really preparing you. Before that, 2019, took on Flavio Pina there. Beat him with elbows in the first round with Eagles Fighting Championship. He had a couple good wins with Eagles, along with a 2-6 win, a 9-13 win. So he kind of mixes in a low level of competition amongst his fights here. That's always, to be expected from that area of talent, that region of talent. But pretty inactive overall striker, if I'm being honest here. I think these guys wrestling most likely cancels each other out anyways in this one. If anything, I think Dante Skiro is the better scrambler. Longer guy. Went to distance with current Bellator welterweight champion Logan Storley. Split there and took down very short notice. Beat Kenny Robertson on the regional scene, former UFC guy, and made him look really good. Fading SBG Ireland is pretty profitable in 2022, so I don't think it's a bad idea at all. And Skiro looks to be in great shape. He went to the third one with Scotty Howe, but it was a fight that was never in doubt. I mean, he also was a minus 650 favorite in that fight, but the Logan Storley fight, I think, told you a lot more about the level here. Lost early on to a good wrestler in Jesse Urleen, who got recently beat a split decision loss over with ONE FC. So definitely some good overall competition for Dante Skiro throughout his career as an amateur, pretty successful as well. I am going to go with Dante Skiro here. I think if anybody will wrestle and have success, it'll be Dante. I think he can wear down Luka and Luka's gas tank. But otherwise, I do not, really want too much to do with this fight. I know the odds are, pretty significant in Skiro's favor, and I was hoping when this initially opened that people would kind of like Luka, but minus 190, that's the edge there for sure. But he should get this done, but I don't love the price, and I do see a way where Pukli can possibly, surprise with the power and get it done early. He's got a good top game as well if he can get the wrestling going, a wrestler on their back. So, but I think Dante's a pretty good scrambler as well, and the stand-ups come along. So I gotta go with Dante here. He looks much longer as well at the weigh-ins. Next fight, another good one. I actually think this is a sneaky good card. 145 here in late notice replacement in Mr. Jordan Barton taking on Azael Adoge here. This should be a very good fight. I really like Azael. And Jordan Barton, really mixed it up and looked very good. That was not a split decision against Fabio Diata. One of my favorite prospects before that fight was Diata. So that was tough to see. But again, Barton, and then just checking up Firo. Shout out to Firo. If you're not following Firo on Twitter, you should be following him. The best college plays in the game. Garth, good to see you here. Sorry, I've been out a little bit, guys. The bets have been going well. Taking my girlfriend on vacation to places with no reception, which you guys don't care about again. Good top game, skills gaming. Good to see you here, Abraham Khan. What do you think about a parlay with Skiro, Adoge, and Georgie K, or however you spell that, or however you say that? We'll get to Georgie K, but a highly viable fight to say the least with Georgie K and Adoge. This is a tough one, man. This is Jordan Barton was coming off a phenomenal performance in this last one, taking another short notice fight here, but he looks to be in really, really good shape. Diata's cardio, I think Diata's overall just, I'm not sure if he has that dog in him. Honestly, that for MMA is very, very technical, but yeah, well, that's for another day. Um, Barton 7-2-1. He's a dog man, 29 years old, looked in great shape coming into this one. Lost to Kieran Clark in the third round. No shame there. James Hendon with Cage Warriors, no shame there. Fabio Diata, that was not a split decision. He definitely took it to him. Really good pressure, good cage pressure all the way around. Uh, just cracked the younger fighter here, and he has a chance to do that again. 3-1 Azel has a ton of experience with karate, with Muay Thai, another SBG Ireland guy, but we know that these camps can just find good talent at times. You know, uh, Edmund Target, whatever his name, did it for a while, but either way, 3 of his last 4 fights he has won. He lost his debut by split decision. Um, just broke down Nathan Jesserman. You can go back and watch that fight. It's a beautiful performance. Has evolved with the wrestling as well, which I like, and really looks to use that to pressure, uses good ground and pound, has developed a good grappling overall. This is a fight that I think is going to go one where it would sound stupid to say that. I think this is a fight I'm very nervous in because I am edging towards the dog and the Zale. But the thing about this fight is that Barton has that style that really exposes those inexperienced fighters who haven't been to all those spots. With that being said, I do like a lot of the striking and the technical abilities of Azale, and I think Azale could turn the wrestling onto Barton in this fight as well. And if he gets on top, I think he could do a lot of damage. Barton's going to be in this to the end. I am surprised he's a favorite, especially on short notice. So I'm going to take the shot on the dog. I think a lot of people will be on this dog if I'm making an assumption. So plus 130, I'd hop on it now if I were you. But Azale Adoge is my pick. And I'm going to take him to go to the decision. But I would love to see him, really work the body like he did in the Jesserman fight and go for that finish. That would be great. That was a fantastic performance. So should be a very good fight between those two. Surprised it's second from the bottom, but is what it is. Next one, featherweights, Alex Bodnar versus Kenny Mokahonoa. Kenny is what we're going to call him the rest of the time here because trying to say that name with no co-host is no fun. But either way, Kenny M versus Alex Bondar. This was definitely the most animated of the face-offs, and there was a significant difference in the physicality of these two guys, but there was also a difference in kind of the composure. You saw Kenny really hopping around, getting in Bodnar's space. Bodnar stayed pretty composed through that, and I actually liked quite a bit of what I saw from that moment, and it did make me a little interested in this one. Kenny's been explosive so far, 3-0, 25 years old, absolute prospect here. 5 straight wins coming into this, and you guessed it, another SBG Ireland guy, and 3 straight wins, all by submission. Broke Adam Shelley in their debut there, which is, I don't know how impressive that is. Honestly, it was not the best of chokes there, but it is what it is. Pretty wild striker, goes in and out, looping strikes, definitely can be countered. But you see 3 straight wins by submission, had the triangle in this last fight. But Alex Bodnar is legit, man. He's a very good competitor here out of Gym 01, coming off a win against George Tansana. Not the best of wins with shock and awe, but definitely used his grappling, used his technical abilities, and is very composed in there. The Callum Mullen fight, he did get guillotined in, so he's definitely leaving his neck in positions with his grappling. That makes me a little bit nervous here, but besides that, he really has looked pretty technical, has a knockout as well. As an amateur, had a wide variety of, finishes as well. But with this fight, I do think that early on Kenny is just going to be too much for Alex. I do see an early finish for Kenny in this fight. He does really use his striking to get to his grappling. But I do think as this fight goes on, we could see a significant slowdown in Kenny. Alex, I think, comes very live as this fight goes on. Um, just on straight pick, it's hard, but I'm gonna have to edge towards Kenny. But with the odds where they're at, it's a dog or pass for me. Alex Bodnar is not a plus 260 to me. I'll get your 5-fight money line parlay. I'll do my best at the end of this. Zhang Li, can it be cross promotion or do you want it just for the Bellator? But I'm gonna edge towards Kenny here. I think he gets it done early, but Bodnar becomes very live as this fight goes on. I like this composure, and I don't look too much into weigh-ins, but you saw Kenny hopping around very overconfident in Bodnar, and cross parlay is fine. Cool. Sounds good, Zhongli. Will do. But I'm going to head towards Kenny, but I'm a little nervous of this, especially at the line at minus 315. I don't agree with that line. But Kenny has looked really impressive. Very fun prospect. Out of Ireland as well. Gonna have a lot of heat behind him. This fight right here is a volatile one. And don't give him Cage Warriors. I'm gonna do a Cage Warriors at least quick pick video at the end of this. But next fight, it's the volatile one. Georgie K. Right away, I'll say one of my favorites in MMA ever. Honestly, I just have always appreciated this guy. Not saying he's the best, but he's always gonna fight for your money. And lately, he's been having some trouble. We'll get to in a second. Kane Musa, the danger, not one of my favorites. So I want that noted right off the bat. To me, I am all over Georgie K in this fight. I understand those who are nervous like Kelly, but for me, Kane Musa, 36 years old, Manchester top team, 13-4. He lost his last fight very clearly to Davy Gallen. He lost his fight before that to Alexander Botti, and he lost that fight before that to Rafael Macedo. All of those very clearly. He has this ability to get split decisions. He's 1-1 in his split decisions. But Musa, very, limited reach, limited skills. Honestly, he has a limited gas tank as well. I'm not a huge fan of this guy. You see splits throughout his record for a reason. Alex Enlund, Robert Whitford. I mean, split over and over again. Lost to higher levels of competition he's faced as well. Lewis Monarch, his best win by far. He's gotten a couple wins with Bellator. The Botti fight, again, very suspect. 15-11 Botti was now 16-14. So just kind of get that through all there as well. So just saying, I got some serious questions about Kane. Georgie, 31, 13, 11, 1 is my main question. Him looking like this in a lot of his fights is my main question. How much does Georgie have left in the tank overall at 37 years old? He is indeed insane. 2 straight losses coming into this one to Saul Rogers and Adam Piccolotti. Pretty clear unanimous decisions where he was very clearly grappled. A split decision Miles Jury before that. Losses to guys like AJ McKee while beating Bryce Logan, Kiefer Crosby. I got to go with Georgie K here. I think Georgie K has such a wider range of skills. He has many more ways to finish, but again, he's been taking a lot of beatings over time. And just really quick, Abraham, I wanted to leave in a little suspense here, but yeah, this parlay, the Adoge fight makes me nervous. The Skiro fight makes me nervous, and the Georgie K fight makes me nervous. So I'm not sure I would do that in a parlay, to be honest with you. I think you just play Georgie K straight, or you play him in a double up that you like, which I can get to later. But Georgie K is at a steep price, minus 175. I'm seeing up to minus 200 at places. So definitely a little out of my price range there. Plus 150 on Kenny on Kane Musa. So again, Kane Musa not good. I don't think he has the ability to finish, especially based on the last 2 guys where Georgie K was able to make it. So I got Georgie K here, and I think Georgie K gets it finished by, I'll say, submission, but I like him inside the distance here. So let's go, Georgie. Get off the schneid. Not a Kane fan again. So not hiding that at all. And never hide those types of things from you guys because I think you deserve to know that. Next fight, this one of my easiest picks of the night. It will be in my Zhang Li parlay. I watched a lot of Kai Stevens fights today. He likes to throw very slow spinning techniques. Gerard Kelly, very good wrestler. At the weigh-ins, you saw Kai kind of asking, "Are you going to stand with me?" To the wrestler, the famous. That's basically telling you, "Please don't take me down. Please don't take me down." His takedown defense is a single underhook. He doesn't stuff for both. He has an overhook on the other side, so Russell's like an Englishman, if I'm putting it nicely. He was beat up pretty badly against Joshua Anwardi before the eye poke stopped the fight against Lucas Salza. The fight was stopped by an illegal knee, but he was given a loss for the fight. So I don't really understand that one. But he was getting pretty beat up and held against the cage against Lucas Salza, a guy making his debut there. Doesn't have a ton of pop, but definitely wants to fight on its feet here. That is where Kai has the best chance for sure. But I do think the power in the boxing still is in Dura Kelly's favor. 1-0, 24 years old, very hyped prospect here. 6 foot tall, 72-inch out of SBG Ireland. Put away the 3-0 Junior Morgan, very tall opponent. Guillotined him inside of 2 minutes. I expect a similar type of finish here. I think he goes in, takes him down, and takes care of business. Dura Kelly will be on my parlay for Zhongli for sure. And he's a minus 475 favorite. So definitely going to have to pair him up. I like him inside the distance as well here. Dura Kelly all day here for me against Kai Stevens. Just, I was not impressed by what I saw from Kai Stevens. Next fight is at light heavyweight, the Battle of the Carls. I'll tell you right now, I have Carl in this fight. So bad joke from me, but I am all alone, so I gotta do something once in a while. But Carl Albertson versus Carl Moore here. I'm a huge Carl Albertson fan. This also will be in my parlay for Zhongli. Carl Moore, 9-2. He's very, very muscular. I do think that doesn't bode well for MMA, anyways. Also, doesn't bode well that your last fight was in 2019, which is 3 years ago now, or nearly. It's going to be 2 years ago and like 360 days because he fought September 27th of 2019 to a split decision with Lee Chadwick. We love Lee Chadwick, but come on. Got knocked down in 15 seconds by Mauro Sorelli. That was in 2018. It was at heavyweight. I get it. But yeah, Carl Moore, a massive 205er. But Carl Albertson fights a very grinding, high pace. He's a good size as well. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Moore tests positive for the sauce after this one. 13-3, Carl Albertson. Just a really good wrestler, really good grinder. Put away Doltvan in the last fight by decision, beat Vladimir Mishenko, a 10-10 fighter. So I don't know what he's doing in that fight. But Victor Nemkov, very impressive decision win there. And Makar Alves, again, 18-20. So he's one of these guys who goes to Superior Challenge every other fight for a little bit. It's kind of weird that he does it. Takes care of business there. Had a tough fight against Phil Davis. Had a really good fight with Yuri Prokashia, with Ryzen, Valentin Maltovsky. He's learned from his mistakes. He's also beaten both Nemkovs. He's got some very good experience. He's a good grinder. He's going to have a much better gas tank here. Carl Albertson all day here against a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years in Carl Moore, so we don't know the improvements he has. But again, Carl Moore looks like he's just mostly a bodybuilder, and I do think Carl Albertson is this week's free, basically free boost. Joe Pyfer of this week, if you will. I think Carl Albertson is that. Whether he finishes or not, I don't know. I think he probably will, just because I just don't see Moore being able to go 15 minutes. I think Albertson knows what he needs to do. Probably get a ground and pound finish. Minus 400, I'm seeing at places minus 520 others. So definitely definitely want to get on Albertson before that price gets out of control. For after this breakdown, tune into Big Brain Pod Live. Sure. Yeah. I don't know who they are, but if they're good, tune into them and stick around. If they're not, get away from them. I don't know who they are, so I won't vouch for them myself, but I trust you. We're on to the second from the top on the prelims here. One of my favorite guys in all of Bellator here, Brian Moore versus Ardevald Lima da Silva, the 40-year-old here. Brian Moore, he's a baller, man. He's finally, I think, getting rewarded here. Moore is live for 30 seconds into 30 seconds to 2 minutes and will fall off of a cliff. That's not nice, Kelly. Don't say that about your Irish brethren. That's rude. But he's facing a 40-year-old here in Artevald Lima da Silva, Carnica. Here, the Brazilian, 40 and 8 months out of American top team Brazil, 5'6" versus 5'8". Mr. Silva here, 19 and 10. 29 fights. This will be his 30th fight. He's on a 5-fight win streak coming into this one. So it is not over for this 40-year-old. In those 5 wins, guillotine, 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 then kick to the body and a decision win. Not a huge level of competition, but you beat who's in front of you. For that, you've lost 2 straight. So definitely props to him. He's been staying somewhat active, but this will be his first fight of 2022. Looked to be in good shape on the scale. Overall, hasn't faced an incredible level of competition. Was put away by Anderson dos Santos, Koti Yamauchi. So no shame there, but overall hasn't faced the level of competition that Brian Moore has faced for sure. Brian Moore 14 and 9, coming into this 2 straight losses. So 2 different directions here, but Nikai Milakalov and Jornal Lugo, very high levels. Put away Jordan I'm going to Winski, which is later on the card. Simone Diana knocked him out in the second round there. And Brian was great against Janelle, exactly. And oh, you meant Carl. Okay, I was really confused about Brian. I'm like, Brian's a grinder. Totally. Okay. I was very confused. Sorry, man. I'm by myself and sometimes I just don't have time to think about it. But yeah, again, I think that you're seeing a guy with 5 straight wins, a guy with 2 straight losses, but the level of competition is what I'm more concerned with here. I think Brian gets stronger as this fight goes. Obviously, early on, gotta mind your P's and Q's with the neck position because I do think the guillotine's live, always on the Brazilian. But I can't go past my boy Brian here. I like Brian in the spot. I don't love the odds. I would assume if I remember or I would think if I remember correctly, Brian Moore is minus 400. That's rough. Plus 300 on Silva here. It's one that mostly I have to leave alone. Maybe I, put Brian in a few parlays, but I could get sweaty there. But either way, Brian takes this one. Next fight. This is a parlay piece for sure. So this would be my third parlay piece. It should be pretty obvious who I'm going with in that case. But Jordan, I'm going to Winski taking on Brett Johns here out of Wales, former UFC competitor here. Yeah, this is just the problem with this one is the odds, though. But Jordan, I'm going Winski, 12 and 3, taking this fight on very short notice. Last fight against Ryan De La Cruz, wasn't that impressed with it. Got pretty thoroughly handled by Brian Moore. Had a very close competition with Carrion Ware, though, on CFFC. So not bad wins here at all. He's faced a pretty good level. He was knocked out back by Ryan Lilly in 2018. He tends to throw some naked leg kicks. I think those will be exposed. And Brett Johns probably takes him down, beats him up. And it's either 15 minutes of a beat up or ground and pound finish, ground and pound to a submission type of finish. But I think that Brett Johns looked really good in his last one against Kakarov. Before that, Danny Sabatello, you learned a lesson there big time. Beat Montel Jackson, Tony Gravely with UFC. Guy might be the best prospect out of Wales, as Kelly said. I definitely like him in this spot. It's unfortunate the price we're getting on Brett Johns, but it is what it is. It's late. It's short notice. It's on ending in Europe here minus 700. That was rough. So definitely, it is what it is. It's a 5-piece money parlay, so I will include Brett Johns because I do think he thoroughly handles Jordan. I'm going to win ski here. So next fight, first on the main card, Irish, of course, Kieran Clark versus Raphael Hudson, another short notice replacement. So we're getting a pretty crooked number here, and one that I'm not as quick to jump on, but I think Kieran should have his way in this one. I'll keep it pretty short. Raphael Hudson taking this fight on short notice. 5 and 3 overall for the Brazilian Apocalypse here. Very, very strong looking guy, but again, tends to kind of get worn down by the grappling and put away. Was put away by a 10 and 2 Omar Solonov with Brave CF. So good experience there for sure. Sylvester Miller, he went to a majority decision. Geraldo de Freitas put him away with the rear naked choke. So, definitely the route to victory is the submission. But he also has 3 submission wins on his record. knocked out Tehran Pedro, not a bad fighter at all. So good level of competition. The guy hits hard. He's aggressive. Kieran Clark, though, I think is a very smart fighter. Another SBG Ireland guy. I think he might have a little bit of a size disadvantage in this one, but he's going to work for his submission. I think, he's gotten 2 submissions in his career. I think he gets a third here. That is, I think clearly where he has the advantage and stays out of the most trouble. So I like Kieran Clark here to get the win. Looking at the odds, though, another minus 700. Yeah, I'd take Brett Johns as my minus 700 over this minus 700. So not going to include this one in the parlay as of now. So Kieran Clark is my pick by submission. Probably the more obvious type of call here. Next fight is at 145 pounds. This one should be an interesting one, but I think that I like my side pretty good here in Mads Burnell taking on Pedro Carvalho. Wanted to fade Clark with his other opponent, but not this one. I agree with you 100%. But Pedro Carvalho, let's just be honest here. He's had kind of a rough go of it lately. 12-6. Lost his last one out, SBG Ireland. Only 27 years old, but really doesn't respond to strikes all that great. Had a split against Piotr Nidzlitsky. I thought Nidzlitsky won that pretty clearly. I had him rocked it several times in that fight. I had a scrappy fight with Daniel Weichel. I'll be honest, that is how this one could very, very well look, but I do think Mads is a little smarter than that. For that, got put away by JJ Wilson and Patricio Pitbull. Face cranked Sam Cecilia, beat Derek Campos. So it's like, I'm just not sure how great he is. And Mads Burnell, 16-4, 28 years old, coming off a tough performance against Adam Borix. Borix was just too physically dynamic. I don't know how else to really put it. Really put it to him on his feet, got to him, and just Mads kind of froze up before that. You'd seen Mads really turn it around, getting submissions over Dean Truman, getting a finish of Saul Rogers to move him up in weight, putting away getting a decision over Manuel Sanchez. I think this is going to be a greasy fight. I think that these odds, are not crazy. I'm not crazy about these odds for me, but it's just like I gotta go with Mads, but I'm just not, in love with the odds here. I think they're a little bit out of line here because I do think that Pedro has, some decent, grappling to him, and it's like the striking of Mads is always something that is a little bit concerning for me. But I gotta go with Mads here. I think he, bounces back from a very good fight against Borix, but the price I'm just not crazy about. So that's it. I get the confidence in Mads. I'm not minus 560 confident. Plus 430, it's just a pass for me because I don't think the dog is, I guess it's the dog or pass at that price actually, but I just don't think the dog is that live. I just don't think Mads is should be that favored either. This fight, 145 women's fight, Diana Silva versus Leah McCord. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I'm not going to go into the records. This one is a grease fire. I'm going to pick Diana Silva to get her down and ground and pound finish her. I just think Diana is more physical, stronger, and has more left in the tank. Leah McCord, I have no idea what to really say about her at this point. She's the underdog, though, plus 150. Diana Silva minus 135. I'm not touching it. Pass on this one. Let's move on. Co-main event time. This is another one. Do I really have to go into these two guys at all? I'm going to choose not to because this is just another freak fight here for Yoel Romero. A chance for him to get another highlight finish because that's what's going to happen to Yoel. What he did to Alex Felici was criminal and sad. What he's doing and taking Leah all day. Good for you, Abraham. Blessing. I'm not touching the fight and everything like that. Does Yoel play with his food again? Yeah, you're going to see like cartwheels in the middle of this match. These are two very punch drunk, 40-plus-year-old men. They're both listed at 45 and 46. They're probably in their 50s, to be honest with you. Yoel maybe just goes to a weird decision again. They might just respect each other too much to really go for the kill, either one of them. But either way, I think Yoel wins this fight, probably knocks out Manhoof, who really You don't even need to connect that hard to knock out at this point. Manhoof is stopping robbers, not professional fighters. So Yoel Romero, um, I'm going. He's at minus 700, guys. Should I put him as my fourth piece in the parlay and just leave one for the Cage Warriors? Fine. Uh, I'll put Yoel in there. I hope that he's not at the Irish pubs too much. And Yoel will be the fourth piece of the parlay. So it'll be one from the Cage Warriors, which I will choose very cautiously. We're on to the main event time. Ben Henderson versus Peter Quelly at 155. This is a fight for sure. I don't know what to really think about Peter Quelly at this point, but he's going to have the crowd behind him for sure in Ireland. And, could that help? It didn't help last time against Patricio. That's for sure. Or Patrici, I should say. Got knocked out in the second round. Before that, had a win by a stoppage due to cut. Had a knockout of Ryan Scope back in 2019. Lost a split decision to Miles Price. Don't like to see that. And that was in Ireland. I think this guy is just kind of fighting above his pay grade at this point. He's a decent striker. His grappling's okay. He's pretty physical as well. That's definitely one of his advantages. He's pretty lengthy. But Benson Henderson, he's been in this game a long time. Former 170er, 155 champion, 29-11. This is going to be his 41st fight. Now 38 years old. Going to be a little shorter at MMA Lab. Coming off of a win against Ismail Mamedov by split. I think it was a pretty clear decision, but still, you see Benson slowing down, but still, he's being a 21-1. Not that impressive Russian, but still, he was 21-1 coming into the fight. Had a win over Miles Jury, Adam Piccolotti, lost to Michael Chandler, Jason Jackson, and Brett Primus in between there as well. So, he's losing to the best of the best. Brett Primus, a world-class grappler as well. I think he really just uses the wrestling and, maybe stops Peter Quelly's leg kicks with leg kicks of his own as well. I do like Benson in the spot. I don't love the price, however. He is fighting in enemy territory. Peter Quelly is going to go for the kill. He has good gas as well. And Benson, again, 38 years old. Father time is undefeated. So minus, 190 approaching 200 for Benson Henderson. Now's the time to get on him. Peter Quelly, one on bullshit doctor stoppage. I get it, but still, he's, he's gonna have the crowd behind him. That is something to consider. But I like Benson Henderson, but he is 38 years old, 41 fights now. Coming into this one, we're gonna move over to Cage Warriors. I'm just gonna go up and down the Cage Warriors picks real quick for you guys. Feel free to message me on at Aaron J Brooks on Twitter, Aaron the Dog Guy on Instagram. If you have more questions, or find me on Sandbox Discord, because that is where I'm going to be doing a lot of my work for the rest of the weekend. It's a great group of guys, $16, and I am not paid by them. I just believe in good sources of information. So shout out to Mikey and everybody, Kelly, everybody over there, Skiro. They're all good people. Real quick, Cage Warriors picks, and then we're going to say goodnight and watch some football. So Matt Hampton versus Wild Bill Wilson. I love me some Wild Bill Wilson. Give me Wild Bill in this fight. He's going to get the knockout as well. No, he's not going to be my parlay piece, but I do definitely like him. Minus 250. Not terrible odds. I think he's worth being in some cross promotions. Next one, really good, exciting striking fight. I believe in this one. Brian Mitchell versus Roberto Hernandez. Both guys are going to be throwing a lot of crazy stuff. Good movement, dynamic. Roberto Hernandez looks to be the real deal and really is starting to come into form. So give me Roberto Hernandez here by KO. Next fight, this one might have to be it, to be honest with you guys. Damon Wilson versus James Settle. James Settle is being brought in here to get Damon Wilson a knockout. Damon Wilson's getting that knockout. Damon Wilson is number 5 on the parlay. So again, I'll go through the parlay at the end, but Damon Wilson is my Cage Warriors representative here in this one. And I like him to get a finish, minus 500, but the under 1.5 is minus 120. I do believe that comes in here. Next fight, very good one. John DeJesus versus Brandon Larocco. Brandon Larocco, if he can overcome that reach, can really make this a long night with the wrestling and cage pressure. for John DeJesus. John DeJesus is very confident. He's faced a very high level of competition. He is in, he's just so inconsistent. And at minus 200, I can't, really trust him. Dog or pass. But yeah, I'm gonna go with John DeJesus. Gonna go with John DeJesus here to get the finish early on. But I think Luraco could make this a fight. So not gonna be taking that one there. Next fight, this is gonna be a war. This is gonna be greasy. Stay away from this one. JJ Ambrose, I get it. 44 fights, very well known, but he's about to be in a war with Jordan Bailey. Jordan Bailey, not happy with his last performance, even though it was a knockout. I do think he's live plus 205. I'm not going to touch it, but minus 245, I'm not touching it either. I'm going to say Bailey gets the knockout. I'll say Jordan Bailey by knockout here. But, I think it's going to be a wild one, or it could be very boring if JJ wins. Next fight, this is an excellent one at 170, Jeffrey Craig versus Jason Blair. We're going to find out who the real prospect is from Cage Warriors, California here. I'm going to go with Jason Blyden here. I think he uses the wrestling and kind of exposes a weakness in Jeffrey Craig, but striking's legit out of the kid. Main event or co-main event, Elijah Harris versus Trey Williams. Close fight for me. And by the way, with Jeffrey Craig and Blair. Blair is a minus 200 and rising favorite, plus 165 on Jeffrey Craig. I was a little surprised by that. But shout out to Blyden. And then Trey Williams versus Elijah Harris. This is an absolute. I mean, which side do you like more? I'll take Elijah Harris by decision. And then the main event, James Lynch versus Eric Sanchez. Oh my God. I don't know. Eric Sanchez has the way better experience. James Lynch seems to be getting, onto a little bit of momentum. He's a scrapper, but yeah, he found out he was the main event, I think, earlier this week. So someone had to be the main event here. It's James Lynch. I'll take him. It is 3 rounds. It's not 5 rounds, just so people know. James Lynch is the favorite at minus 150, but Eric Sanchez, live at plus 130. So really quickly, I will give my 5-fight parlay. Inside of that, we've got Dara Kelly, we've got Brett Johns, we've got Carl Robertson, and we've got Carl Robertson, and our fourth is Yoel Romero. And then from this card, we are taking our Cage Warriors representative to be Derek Wilson, or Damon Wilson. Sorry, I'm just getting a little punch right here. And Damon Wilson's our representative for the 5-fight parlay from the Cage Warriors card. So that's going to do it for the Cage Warriors and Bellator breakdown here. And I'm telling you that 5-fight is going to cash for you. So get on it now. I think all those are surging. I already have it done myself. Thank you to everybody for joining. I appreciate all the support. Sorry for getting this video out a little later. Videos should be on time all of next week. I will have I will have a Contender Series breakdown as well for the final week of the breakdown. So enjoy the fights on Friday. There's no UFC this weekend, but that doesn't mean MMA takes a week off. So thank you, everybody, for the support. Kelly, you're the man. Zhongli, everybody else, Mikey. I'm not anybody I'm forgetting. I appreciate you all. Keep taking care of each other out there. Enjoy the football, and good luck on your fights tomorrow.